What will you be when you grow up? We ask kids around the world the same question, and in my hometown, there was a General Motors plant, so the answer to where is there career-wise was easy for many. Work at that generous Motors plant for 30 years and retire with a gold watch and a good pension. That plant and that world, both gone. Over the past 50 years, the world of work has been stood on its head. And today we'll look at a few of the turbulent storm clouds that caused that, along with 6 silver linings. Let's start with automation. Automation and its many synonyms have eliminated tons of jobs. One global study predicts that by 2030, between 400 and 800 million jobs will be made obsolete. That's a tremendous amount. What's the reason for that? It's simple. It is faster and cheaper to use machines. They don't get tired, they don't get sick, they don't complain, they don't go on vacation, and they certainly don't unionize. For many companies, these are model employees. Next, there are layoffs. Layoffs are the offspring of automation. One study found that in the last 2 decades of the 20th century alone, about 50 million middle-class American jobs were lost to layoffs. Since that time, millions more have lost their positions when once stable, familiar companies like Sears and Kmart and Borders and Toys R Us and even Kodak went belly up. The reason for that is also simple. Companies either make a profit or they go under. The third surprising challenge in our work lives is our own longevity. Years ago, I visited the catacombs in Rome, and our tour guide told us that the average life expectancy of people in ancient Rome was 28 if they died of natural causes. So the Colosseum was a whole other matter. Now in the US, we live to be 79 on average. And in the world's longest lived region, Hong Kong, it's 85. But when scientists look towards the future, they expect that we'll live from 120 to 150 years. The world's oldest person on record actually lived to be 122. What's wrong with that, you say? Living to 150 sounds great. Imagine the points on your rewards card. But there's a catch. The longer we live, the longer we have to support ourselves. And if jobs and companies keep disappearing and the world's population keeps increasing, we're stuck in this game of musical chairs with fewer and fewer chairs and more people. We could get left out. But let's pause that music for a moment. I've taught work-related communication skills for over 2 decades, and I did recruitments in HR for a time, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'll do in the next phase of my life. So I keep an eye on the world of work, and yes, it has obviously changed and caused pain for many, but another world has risen up alongside of it, and we'll look now at those 6 silver linings. Number 1, cyberspace is an entirely new workplace. Some of you in here might find it hard to believe that 50 years ago, the internet, the cell phone, and the personal computer did not exist. How did we survive? So, nowadays, there are over 1 billion websites. That's a billion with a B. And as you all know, if you have a laptop, it can be your home office, or it can be a storefront. Take Salman Khan. He worked in finance, and he discovered a new passion when he started tutoring young cousins online in math. They liked it. He started uploading videos to YouTube. They caught on. So he started the nonprofit Khan Academy. And in addition to the few cousins he helped out, millions of school kids around the world now learn through the Khan Academy. Number 2, the internet levels the playing field. Doesn't care about your age, your education, or your background. There are very, very few gatekeepers. There's no authority to say, this poem stinks, we can't publish that, or this book won't sell more than 10 copies. By and large, we control the content. Now, on the one hand, that makes for a lot of bad cat videos. But on the other hand, someone like spoken word artist Prince EA has released a few hundred uplifting videos that promote health and well-being. To put this in context, over 1 billion people have viewed his videos, and when Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address, there were only 15,000 people there. Number 3, today we have access to global resources like never before. Think about this shift for a moment. If you wanted a book in medieval times, a monk would have to make a copy by hand. Now, you can hold the entire universe of human knowledge in the palm of one hand. It's extraordinary. And if you started a company or a project and you need talent, you can recruit people from all over the world with freelance sites like Fiverr and Upscale. And if you have big ideas but a small bank account, crowdfunding is a godsend. The 19-year-old developer of the Oculus Rift headset needed Kickstarter money, so he started a crowdfunding campaign, raised $2.5 million. 601 days after the campaign ended, he sold Oculus to Facebook for $2 billion when he was 21. Number 4, your voice can be heard around the world today like never before, and it's very hard to silence it. Take Malala Yousafzai and Greta Thunberg. Malala was just 11 when she started speaking out at local rallies in Pakistan, and Thunberg was 15 when she protested by herself outside the parliament in Stockholm. When each was 16, they addressed the United Nations, and at 17, Malala won the Nobel Peace Prize. So it's come to pass that we now live in a global village, as scholar Marshall McLuhan said many years ago, and even the voices of children can be heard from a distance. Number 5, your work can have an impact on the world today on a massive scale. Take Chef Jose Andres. He was sitting around the kitchen table with his wife one day, and she said, wouldn't it be great if you could offer free food to people around the world in need? So in 2010, he started World Central Kitchen. They have now served over 250 million hot, fresh meals to people in war and disaster zones around the world. Number 6, longevity. What is longevity but the opportunity to be everything you always wanted to be in your life growing up instead of just one thing? Today, folks can turn in that gold retirement watch for a passport filled with exotic location stamps. Take Jimmy Carter. In the course of his 98 years on Earth, he fully inhabited 17 different roles. I'd be proud to be any one of these things. And he models for us what it's like to thrive in the new age of work. He never let himself be defined by his past, and as the world changed, he changed. So here's the key takeaway. If you have dreams like the people you just heard about, there is an inspired direction, not a fixed destination. Your work should be a constant adventure that pulls you in the direction of joy. Shouldn't be a ball and chain. And if you feel a calling, now is the time to answer. Today, very little stands in your way. With just a cell phone, you could get a degree, write a book, start a company, or even spark a social movement. So now that we're at the end, I'm going to return to the question that I started with. Whether you're 20, 40, 50, or 70, what will you be when you grow up? Thank you.